So, Pokemon is a series I enjoy, and despite the footage here being Hollow Knight, I wanted to use it as a sort of backdrop for me doing something very unique, which is ranting you about my Pokemon Blorbos and why I love them so fucking much. So for real, I am a person who likes to create things. I really like to make up stories in my head, all that. And I don't typically have an outlet for a lot of those stories. A lot of them have developed over time and over several pieces of media and characters and all that. And it just like I want to fucking talk about the process of creating OCs and why OCs work, why they don't work. I think that's interesting to me. Um, so I hope whoever watches this can entertain me while I give a little history into OCs and specifically my history with OCs and in straight in that going straight into my Blorbos. So real fast, the my history with OCs is essentially I was under the impression for a really long time that they were a bad thing, that they were kind of dumb. Um, because I was a horrible child who kind of was raised in that weird space where like I didn't really understand my gender identity or anything about myself. But then once I kind of came out and realized who I was like, oh, OCs are fun. So I came up with my own OCs, and eventually they developed into the characters they are now. Um, Specifically with this video, I want to discuss Clover, one of my favorite OCs, and because she's a little separated from the main pack in her lore, I wanted to just kind of go over like Clover, where she started, where she's going, and just kind of go over what led to me creating her as an OC. Clover right now is sort of this fail girl human Pokemon in a human form, lesbian, but like in the sense where I don't think she gets sex at all. Like she just likes girls because girls are neat, and she's cool, and she's probably non-binary in some form of way. She's just very her, and that's not really where she started out. Clover started out actually, I believe, with my playthrough of Pokemon Shield because I hadn't played it yet, and I was like, "Fuck it, I am just playing as a character who's like myself, but X and X." And that character eventually just became Clover. She had her own lore, she had her own fucking details, and I was like, "Oh, this is Clover. This is her thing," and it was really fucking interesting. And she started off as like, oh, she's from Galar, obviously. So because the game is Pokemon Shield, what's her lore in Galar? And it eventually started as like her being sort of a fail girl who failed her way upwards in Galar until she became the champion before Leon. Um, Keep in mind, I did not remember that Peony was, I believe, occupied that role in this lore. In this lore was fucking Clover. And then it kind of developed from there, and eventually she was just like, I was kind of like, oh, I kind of feel like Clover's just like a Celebi that lived in specifically the Glenwood Tangle, and like, and then she kind of just evolved and evolved and evolved until there was like this narrative around Clover of how she is specifically the most cheerful but like dense cheerful person in fucking history, and her whole bit is that she is a fail girl. She does everything badly, but she has a positive outlook, and she also just is kind to an unbelievably degree, to like a fault. She is kind. And the idea behind her is like, if I were to do a show with Clover, her thing would be that she's just so kind that despite everything going wrong around her, that she kind of wins. Um, Thinking about it now, I realize it's very similar to Milo Murphy's Law, which is Dan Papenmeyer's or it's the Phineas and Ferb guys. I don't think it's just Dan Papenmeyer, but it's the Phineas and Ferb guys' second show after Phineas and Ferb. They had like three, and it was Phineas and Ferb, Milo Murphy's Law, and then I think Hamster and Gretel. But Milo Murphy's Law I really liked because the character was just endlessly positive. Um, and like you have Clover, who's sort of similar to that. Her things don't just go wrong because she's her. Things go wrong because she's kind of dumb, and she doesn't understand human customs very well because she's technically a Pokemon. Um, but like I think the conceit is like if I did a show about her, like or an anime or whatever it would be her and her group of friends, and there would like be this mean group of friends who always try to antagonize them and bully them and ruin their plans. And no matter what, this mean group of friends always gets fucked over because every time they're trying to be like dicks about it, people look at them and are like, "Why are you being dicks about it? Why can't you be nice?" And they're like, "Clover's nice. I'm gonna go hang out with fucking Clover because she's pleasant." Um, and the main conceit of all this was like, Clover is kind of the hope I have for what humanity could be again. Like, where if we weren't in this shitty ass place we are in the world, and I'm like, I wish we were in Pokemon World where Clover was nice and kind and cool. Yeah. Clover's main thing is also like she is very separate from my other OCs, who I will kind of I'd get more into them, but they're a whole ass thing, and it's a lot darker for them. Um, but like Clover explicitly is in the same universe and kind of explicitly just misses all the bullshit that my other OCs have to go through. Um, my only other OC who's sort of like Clover in the sense that she does not have to deal with most of that bullshit is Faye, but that's because she's like a ultra space traveler, and that's a whole thing. But sorry, Clover is like, I don't know. I had this conversation with one of my two partners, and we were talking about Clover, and we were talking about her in the sense where like she was working at a bar, like doing musical performances because Clover is a drummer. And I can actually I will make the thumbnail of this video my Clover art, my Clover being a drummer art. And Clover's whole thing is like she's a big fail girl. She just fucks up in every single goddamn way. And so she's in this bar, she's packing up her drum kit. There's a cute bartender across from her that she is like, "Oh, I like you. I want to spend more time with you," not really knowing that's romantic feelings, you know. And Clover just like accidentally turns into a celebi because she's not thinking, and it just ends up with her dating the bartender who's like, "Oh, you're straight up just a Pokemon with intelligence." And that was like the idea I had initially for what Clover's family life would look like, until I was like, I don't really like the implications of Clover dating because she's a celebi, and that's kind of freaky if she's dating a human, you know. With OCs, you really got to think about shit like that. It's annoying. But yeah, Clover's a character. Another anecdote about her is like she fell down the stairs to join the gym challenge. She wasn't even supposed to be in that shit. She fell down the goddamn stairs, and they entered her with on like a bit, and like the bit was this woman fell down the stairs, and now she's in the gym challenge. And then she fucking won. That's just how she is. It's great. It's great. She's great. Yeah. But I think to I don't know. This is supposed to be specifically. This is like specifically just like 10 to 15 minutes of me ranting about OCs and specifically Clover. But this was kind of just me testing the waters. I am not an artist. I am not a writer. I am not good at anything but lore dropping on my fictional OC lore. Which is Here's credit. I haven't slept all night. Anyway, lore dropping. I'm not good at anything about lore dropping on my fictional OC lore, which is like fuck. I want to do something with that. I want to do something creative with that. And I was like, I have this whole fucking YouTube channel, um, and I figured I would just put it out there that here's Clover's lore, and all that. She's a cool character, and I like her, and I wanted to just talk about her to someone. And sometimes you just gotta talk to the internet, like just record a video. So this is going to be like a bit of a series I'm going to do on kind of my OC's lore, and also talking about how I build these OCs and where they come from and where they end up. I legitimately think that I'm just going to record myself like very shittily playing video games. You probably have been watching me shittily play Hollow Knight, and I'm going to record myself and then dub over it with like very intense lore of like my OCs and just general thoughts. It's like a podcast or some shit. To be clear, this is not a podcast. It's not long enough to be a podcast. I have no valid opinions. I'm lore dumping you about my OCs because I'm autistic. But yeah. I really hope you got some enjoyment out of watching a person struggle with Hollow Knight and lore dump about their OCs. I am going to stop it here with the recording of the audio, and then I'm going to cut that Hollow Knight footage, and then I'll put the rest in like a folder to use later. Okay, see ya. Bye.